Bye-bye.
Boom! All right, we are recording again. Seems like it's been a minute. I think we've each done a couple little subcasts. Coach Purdy, Coach Tyler, back at it again. Even though we haven't seen each other in a little bit, we've been keeping in touch. And I kind of have like a little sheet here. You know, you've heard us talk about taking notes and doing things and just being. Let's fix our lighting a little bit. Being who we are and kind of nerding out on stuff. But I kind of did this little list of stuff for today's show. I was kind of excited about it. But I was like, I got cool transitions, I think. So, and I haven't really showed it to Tyler because I kind of want to get what some of his reactions are to things and see what he thinks about things and whatnot. So, looking at that, we are recording great. Again, switching mics for when we're doing the, both of us here versus the individual stuff. You've been listening to some of the subcasts. And I think I can hear a bit of a difference, like different talking to it.
Yeah.
That one picks up some different sounds, but I think I'm talking directly into it. So things are just a little bit different. Any which way, I figured we'd start off with how was the bucket list thing, which I think you probably do, knowing you more than one. It's not a bucket list thing for you to do and be done with it, but what was WrestleMania like? What was the experience like? Without spending a whole episode on, because I know you probably could.
So I'm probably going to do an episode on that tonight for my personal one. But no, it was amazing. We were actually, our seats were better than we thought. We were the section behind where John Cena was sitting, actually, so we saw a lot of famous people. Then the night after, I was on Raw the night after. I was actually on TV.
Those seats were really good.
I was on the front row, right off the ramp. I was on TV a lot that night.
Because I was following his snaps, and I was like, dude, he's like mega close. Like they're coming off the stage, and he's right there.
It was really cool. The atmosphere is crazy. I mean, you get a bunch of wrestling fans in there. We all just nerd out. And
Now I gotta ask, was this all a package deal with like the Raw tickets as well? Or was that something that you guys decided on?
It was. The Raw and WrestleMania tickets were a package deal, and then SmackDown we decided like the night or the day of, we were like, y'all want to do it? And we were like, yeah, let's go.
Why not? You were there.
Yeah, we were like, why not? Instead of just sitting around before we left, I was like, why not get one last night in? So we went to that. It was still good. It wasn't as good, but.
Do you think it was just kind of like
I think
coming down off the high of all of it?
Yeah, I mean, we were there. I was there.
It's kind of hard to sustain for 3 days in a row.
Especially in New Orleans because it's such a party city. It's just always on the go. Everything's up and about. The city itself, I mean, I wouldn't go back. I don't think to the city. There's a lot of there's just a lot of things that were not that great there. Like I mean, it's not their fault, but it's like a huge homeless population. The crime rate's real bad. But other than that,
there's a lot of stuff. I think they're still
recovering.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize how much that. When you hear about it and people are back there and things happen there, but like how much talking to people that are not necessarily from that area, but people that have lived in Louisiana and different areas, and say that I mean New Orleans is still still recovering.
And I mean, I hope in the speediest recovery they can, but it was just because of that the crime rate was real bad. But downtown is amazing. I mean, Bourbon Street, you just walk down the street, you can do everything's down there, everything you could ask for having a good night. And where we stayed was pretty cool. It was a nice little house. Overall, I had a wonderful time. Hoping next year I might go. It's in New York, New Jersey. It's actually in both places. It's either that or me and Shaquan were talking about NCAA's, which are in Pennsylvania. So
yeah, and that's when actually Coach G was talking about it. About going because a couple of the other coaches hadn't gone yet either. So I mean, I want to do both. Like, I still want to go both. I think the WrestleMania is more of a bucket list thing. Like, I want to experience it one time. It's like a Super Bowl. You want to experience it.
Exactly.
NCAA's is something I want to go to, but I know I want to go to multiple times if I possibly can. So, but transitioning from our next thing, as we said though, was I'm only going to ask about one match because it hits my transition. Was Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
Her first match in the WWE was at WrestleMania, and I actually watched that match.
Yeah.
I haven't finished watching all of it yet because it's like 5 hours long. So Devin and I haven't finished watching all of it.
It was a marathon.
But we've watched a portion of it. But we did watch the Ronda Rousey match. I thought she did a good job.
She did.
I think that, whereas you could tell it was her first match, but she was still doing stuff that wasn't first match things for what would have been most people's first match. Like she was doing, what do they call them? Sets or stunts or tricks. I don't know what they call them. Spots. Like she was hitting spots that were veteran level spots on her first match out, and I was like, kudos to her. And I said it like I was like, dude, WWE is gonna be a good spot for her when she came out with that Rock thing and all that. So I thought that, I thought she did a great job, and I thought, hey, good for her to find something that she can still be active in. Fake or not fake, or well, we kind of know it is fake, but it's still real to us type saying. But it is a physically active thing you have to be in shape for. You have to be a showman or a showwoman, and she is all those things. And I think that her personality and character fit great into this.
Yeah, and she, it's like you said, you hit the nail on the head. There are some things she needed to polish up, and a lot of that I account to nerves. Because you're in the biggest stage.
Nerves, and like it's your first time out.
Exactly, but she looked phenomenal.
But like you said, for your first time out,
and she's also
she did what a lot of people couldn't do their first time out.
She also
and she's done that throughout her career, like with the UFC, first time out. So it's awesome for her. I wasn't her biggest fan in the UFC because I fell into the role of her being the bad guy, kind of, sort of, and I wanted to cheer for the underdogs or the other people, but I 100% respect her and what she's done, and hey.
I'm a fan because I like the Roddy Piper thing.
Oh, yeah,
because I'm a Roddy Piper fan.
Yeah.
But one thing that I have been impressed with, her first night, she was very, her promo, or when she was talking to the crowd, she was very emotional, nervous.
Yeah.
Ever since then, though, she's just transitioned seamlessly. So, I feel it's a great fit. It's gonna be.
I figured that wouldn't be a problem for her because a lot of what UFC does is sells shows, and she was able to sell shows, and that leads into my next segue going into the UFC with your man, Conor McGregor, and selling shows and selling tickets and being a showman, and I got some takes on. For those that don't know about, whatever Conor didn't do, was it, blah, 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 blah. Man lost his mind.
He did.
And went off
he's
the
admitted to that. He's admitted to that.
But I've got some other takes on it, too. But I'm going to play devil's advocate on some things with Conor McGregor here in this next little bit. So transitioning from Ronda, UFC to Conor. Your initial take, what did you think when you first saw it?
Okay, so my initial take was two things.
And yes, we were late on this, but this is the first time we got to sit down and talk about it with each other.
So
minus Facebook.
It's been two things that I had my two knee-jerk reactions. My first one was, we all need a friend like that, because he hopped on a plane from Dublin to there. Second thing, I was actually extremely disappointed that he was so reckless that he hurt another fighter. A lot of who don't know, Michael Chiesa was fighting that night and got a laceration above his eye, I think it was, and he could not fight that weekend anymore. But McGregor did say, he was like, I would pay your fight, your show plus your win bonus.
He says all that, but
no,
Rose,
he did.
I know, but Rose was close to being injured. That's a whole lot of a deeper pocketbook right there. And he was really close. She was close to have been. Imagine if she got a piece of glass in her eye.
Yeah, she was more shaken up than anything. The one thing, a few fighters, Ray Borg included, which I'm not a fan of Ray Borg, and then Felice Herrig too. Also, they're suing, which his lawsuit's going up to about $10 million. They're saying, but they sued because they said they feared for their lives. I felt that it was good fight hype, but I feel he went about it the wrong way. I felt he went way too overboard and too reckless. Put the lives of other fighters in danger. Put their, he's costing them a job. Like, how would you feel if someone came in and, cost you your job, your way to make money for your family, and all that?
And here's kind of my take on all that. I agree with you, and I got a couple other little takes on this. Yeah, we all need a friend like that to back you up, and that's all great and dandy. And I'm not saying we don't need friends, because we do. But I'm going to throw something at you that I don't know if you knew about. Did you know on the real that he didn't hop on a plane to go do that?
It was his jet.
Huh?
It was his jet.
No.
He was
He was scheduled to be at that show
Really?
Anyway, he was scheduled to be at the show, and the initial thing was he was supposedly probably going to be whoever wins the fight,
Yeah.
going to have the in-ring interview with Conor
That's what
after
I said.
the fight.
That's
so
what I
that
predicted.
so that he could hype up for the fight.
Yeah, where'd you read
So
that?
he was on his way, Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen? See, okay, I didn't know that. And I listened to Chael Sonnen.
So
I just hadn't seen it.
He
though.
was on his way to the fight anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm not saying that did there now become a sense of urgency to go help his buddy out. I'm not saying that there probably was that. So yes, now he is going to, but he was able to now say he went for his friend, but very few people, I think, minus people that listen to Chael Sonnen and maybe have like some more inside ties, know that he was scheduled to be at the fight anyway.
See, I didn't know that because
So,
I heard
now
he wasn't.
Yeah, so let's take that, take
Yeah.
the whole front. He was scheduled to be there anyway, all right?
Yeah.
He was already planning to hype his next fight. Then this happens.
Mhm.
He schedules for his people to let him into the arena, like his security people. His security people that follow him around with the camera all the time. They know he's going to do something. They let him and his mafia in. And the reason why I say his mafia is because like he showed up with like 20 dudes. And this is my issue.
They were
with,
actually some gangsters, like legit mafia.
and
gangsters.
here's my issue with the whole "we need a friend like that" comment that a lot of people like to say. I want a friend like that. I want a friend like you who I know is willing to back me up. I don't need a friend who is going to bring 20 people into something and then now we have escalated to a different level of something. And the whole like pack mentality and things like that. And that's the problem of what happened was he brought so many people into this. I think it would have been great fight hype if he'd have kept his head. Maybe if he threw something out of the bus, you throw it at the tire, it bounces off the tire. You don't
the
have
side.
the side of it, something where this is planned. Now it can be sold. It can be put on for later on stuff. Now I don't know if UFC can use any of this stuff because it'll all be under court document footage. Because
they can. Dana the next day, Dana was already tweeting. And that's the thing. That's the problem I have. Brendan Shaw pointed this out, and he said, if y'all don't think the UFC is going to use this to hype this fight, you're absolutely insane. They used the cocaine for John Jones.
They did, but they shouldn't be
wreck.
allowed to. This
They
should
shouldn't.
all
No,
go
they
into
shouldn't.
like court of law and should be under like sealed evidence type stuff.
I agree,
That
but-
should just be seen to whoever tries and whichever. But what I'm saying is like he was premeditating what he was doing, bringing all those people, and I think that's absolutely absurd to have to like bring. I have the whole problem with I don't mind matching a number like. Say like you've got a problem with somebody and there's two dudes on one. I'm gonna match that
one
number
person.
for you.
Yeah.
But I ain't bringing 5 because I don't need to. I'm gonna match. It needs to be.
I see
You
what you're
need to
saying.
like. And that's the problem with everybody always wants to escalate to the next thing. That's where my issue was like him rolling in with 20 dudes, losing his mind, throwing it out the window, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I felt he went. I did feel. He
I
went
think that
overboard,
this was a hype job
gone
wrong.
Yeah,
I
it
mean-
was. I mean, as much as at the time, I'll be honest, I was the first one to say it. I was kind of laughing, but I was like, "That is straight gangster." But the more I thought about it, I was like, "That is so irresponsible."
And
bro.
here's the no, it's
So
not just
irresponsible.
irresponsible because say he did get on a flight from Ireland to fly over there. Guess what? You're hype. You're mad. You're going. You have like what 12 hours on a jet? Maybe it's a fast jet. Maybe you got 6 to 8 hours. Okay, you have time to calm down and think like a rational person.
Oh, of course.
You don't grab 20 people and still go through the way he did this. This now because of like him losing his mind and whether it's hype gone wrong. Premeditation in the court of law is a big thing. And it wasn't like he was next door and didn't have time to think about what he was doing. Oh, he sat down. That's why I think it was a hype thing, and I think it was a hype thing gone overly wrong.
I agree.
And now he has to pay the consequences for his
Because
actions.
there's a difference between premeditated murder and there's a difference between heat of the moment murder. That's why usually heat of the moment you get a lesser charge to an
Yeah,
extent.
I mean,
And-
but he had X number of hours on a plane.
Oh, he had time.
I think
He
they
knew what he
and I
was
think
doing.
they were working it out. They were like, "This is
I
gonna be a
agree.
great selling bit," but then he lost his mind, got into what he was doing, and threw things too high and kept going, and like, and that's the thing, like that whole crowd mentality. Look, it's just like groups of people. One person one-on-one is not a big deal. You see somebody away, whatever. Groups of strangers is dangerous. It's the same thing with dogs. One dog, one by itself, is not scary.
When
you
you
see
get
a
the
pack
pack,
of dogs,
that's when you
that's
need to worry.
scary because they work. It's just, and that's just nature of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. He hurt himself by having too many people with him, and he got into his head, and he thought he
I think it's 'cause
could take on the bus because he had
someone-
like 20 people behind him.
Someone said,
And that's why I kind of understand the
Yeah.
fear of the people. Like, they're not fearing one person throwing something. You would fear a mob of people. Like, it's just,
Anyway, 'cause
Yeah,
1 versus
so-
20, no matter how skilled you are. And I like what Floyd Mayweather said. I don't know if you heard what he said. He said that he respects Conor, but Conor has yet to learn how to act with being rich or with making that much money, because he said.
Like I
He said it's different. He said when someone does something like that, and he said you have the disposable income to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He said if you don't know how to handle it, you're going to do it. If you don't know how to handle, not spending money, he's like, you're obviously going to do it. And that's coming from Floyd Mayweather.
Oh,
Floyd
yeah.
Money Mayweather.
Yeah.
So
I mean, as much hype as they had, like Money Mayweather's been, I think,
yeah.
not talked about enough. For one, winning the fight, but for two, like,
Oh,
dude,
I
he has had
respect
nothing but
him
respect
now,
in
yeah.
class four, like Conor,
Yeah.
like, and understand, like, hey, this is a fight game, and almost like in like cases like that, like, he's almost kind of like a mentoring type
Yeah.
role model words to say, like, hey, you gotta do this, my man. You want to
Yep.
establish for your future and your family and do everything. That's what
This
I've
is
done,
right,
and that's what I'm
yeah.
doing. Come on, follow my lead, and then call me some bad names, and let's go fight some more and make some more millions. But
Oh, they respect a lot of people.
Yeah,
They
so they-
really respect each
yeah,
other.
so I think that's awesome. But
Yeah.
I want to keep rolling here.
You got to keep going.
UFC, Conor. Here's my other segue. Did you hear about Daniel Cormier?
Yes, he says that. So
Yes. Like how stoked would you be? All right.
okay, so which one are you talking about? Because I've heard two big things come out of this.
All right,
Okay, so the one that I've heard that I'm stoked about is that he said that he's wanting to retire soon. And have you heard the 3 fights he's wanting to end with?
No. Okay, I got a whole
Okay.
different thing. But
Yeah. No,
okay.
I know the one you're talking
Okay.
about, but this is one that I'm excited about.
Okay, hit me with this one.
He said he wants to fight Stipe, which is the next one,
No, I heard that's the next one.
Brock.
Ryan. Huh?
Brock Lesnar, and then he wants to go out
That'd
with
be
his
fun.
final match against John Jones. And then he's done. And then-
I don't know if that match will ever happen though. I mean, I've been so
I
hyped to
don't
see
know,
it so
but-
many times that my disappointment with them never happening is just like whatever. I hear
It can't be as worse as Ferguson and Khabib. That fight's happened
no,
5 times.
I know,
and been
but
all 5
but
times.
I'm like it's like fool me once,
Yeah, shame
good for
on
you,
me, yeah.
how are the saying
It's
goes?
like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
Twice shame on me. Like I've been shamed on 3 times now, like
Yeah.
lately with all that and everything.
I mean, I don't know.
And-
That's big hype, but that also leads into.
I'm
what
not
you're
saying
gonna
I
say.
wouldn't like to see it,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, eh.
But that leads into what you're about to say.
But before
a way,
retirement, he is going to be a high school wrestling
Mhm.
coach. Gilroy
That's-
High
that's-
School, where he trains at in Santa Cruz or Santa Barbara, one of the two, I think Santa Cruz, in California. He is going to be the high school coach.
Yep.
How awesome would it be to have an active UFC fighter and former Olympian wrestler as the high school coach? And this is the part that I thought was great.
Yeah.
Guess what he's getting paid?
Probably nothing.
Nothing. He said he's doing it for nothing.
That's
and
that's why.
I think that's such an amazing thing. Like his giving back and this whole and
That's exactly what I was about to get
and
into, the giving back.
Giving back to like how willing people are
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And he could just strictly he teaches classes at a local
Yep.
gym and does stuff, and I'm sure he gets paid good money to have kids come personal train and in group training session and classes. And he is doing this for free. He's probably going to be one of the highest
Yep.
credentialed coaches at the high school
Yeah.
level, making absolute zero money, and I think it is a wonderful thing. Daniel Cormier, kudos to you. Love what you're doing, come back and coaching, and that is awesome.
So
and I think it's gonna be awesome
Yeah.
for like all the people that go in to wrestle at tournaments and do
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Like and see him like it's good for the
Yes.
sport. And ESPN, shame on you for not having done anything on this yet.
How dare you?
Seriously,
This is a huge story, and that's why I was gonna
that's
say
what I'm
this-
saying. There's that.
This
that-
is why. This is why I said it kind of leads into what he's talking about, because with him saying that he's getting out of the UFC, if he was taking a college coaching job, you would understand it. But the fact that it's a high school coaching job,
Yeah.
and he's even saying that he's willing to put his UFC career aside for this for free to coach high school,
That's awesome.
that to me spoke volumes. And that's why I kind of wanted to lead with why I was excited about that is because it leads into he's giving back. He could have coached somewhere else. He could have coached in college. He could have coached. He probably could have helped out with the Olympic team. He could have done something like that. He chose high school. He chose the future. He chose people that are going to be that next generation stars for the NCAAs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that to me,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for that. That's why. But I was really excited about those last 3 fights. One, because they're big, but 2, it leads right into that.
Yep.
So, yeah, awesome for you, DC.
Awesome
Appreciate
to
it.
see. All right.
Much love.
I challenge you on behalf of the high school team. You come.
He
to us.
does. I don't. I'll take my chances. I know.
No, not personally. I'm talking about on the mat. Not me on the mat, but like the team wise. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that then. I'll say because I'm not letting that gorilla get a hold of me and like throw me through the
So
air.
yeah, but I'm your friend. Like Connor, I got your back, right? Once he
You
gets
can
on
have
you,
my
then,
back, but I'm
then
still getting dropped on my head either way.
when he's dropping you on your head, I'm gonna like jump
Moral
on his back from
support.
there. Yeah, there you go. So
It's like, you're doing okay. No, I'm not.
yeah, just kidding. But you know how awesome it would be to coach against him.
It
too.
would, it would.
And it'd be awesome. All right.
Much respect.
Then going into other coaching news, I can't remember who all we talked about last time around. The whole Carousel of coaching.
Yeah.
So far, let's just start from the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. Wisconsin, we already talked about, had Bono. SDSU got Hahn from Cornell, which is big.
Huge.
So-
Cornell is very slept on as a program. I think a lot of people. They're they're the next year's team is going to be the Michigan of that was this year.
So and then I think so. SDSU is often a great way. And then West Virginia got Flynn from Edinburgh, which I thought was awesome. Flynn was one of those ones that took a program like Edinburgh, and I don't even know if Edinburgh has whatever the full number of scholarships.
Yeah.
They don't have their own standalone facility, but they had great administrative support and things like that. And I don't know if you would call them a mid-major program because it seemed like they were doing so well. They were a top 10 contender. They were
they
out
even
there.
did the cool one-piece singlet.
They've done so many different things, and to see Flynn going to West Virginia, being close to that recruiting, but I think it's going to be a great for West Virginia's program. Really like that. Unfortunately, though, I don't know who Edinburgh is getting as their coach. So again, as new coaches go, I kind of like seeing some of the assistants get places because then you don't worry about what something else has. So not sure who Edinburgh is getting, but those were the new coaching hires that I thought was really cool. Things moving around there, things of that nature. So with the coaching, it's always kind of fun to watch and see what's going on. Now that we're back, kind of like our segues to different things, now that we're kind of on wrestling, it wasn't planned, but I want to talk about if you guys haven't seen some of the new shoes that have been come out, or some of these custom-made shoes, they have been awesome.
They have. I just showed you a new pair too as well.
Yeah, that was the one. Seth Gross's USA shoes are with the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, it's got the Declaration of Independence on the back. It says "We the People" and then the American flag on the front.
The shoe is awesome. Who was it? Bryce Meredith had some awesome shoes during NCAA's.
With the Wyoming.
With Wyoming and the money bags and Bryce Money Meredith. And then Darian Cruz had some killer ones. I can't remember if the shoes that I saw for Spencer Lee were like a prototype or if they were actually his shoes. I think his shoes were pretty cool. I just think it's cool that we're now seeing like shoes like done up this way and sent out to people and different things like that. And I really thought that was cool. And
what'd you think of Spencer Lee coming out to the Pokemon theme song?
Oh gosh,
pop culture wrestling.
I mean, just like, and it also just showed the diversity of who wrestlers are and who we can be.
Yeah.
We're not just like some meatheads that just want to go club on somebody's head and run somebody in the mat, which a lot of us can be. I teach art and I coach wrestling. People are like, art and wrestling? Like, dude, like wrestlers are artists. Like, I think, I don't know, Kel Sanderson might have been an art major. Like, get on that. And I've known like a bunch of, sorry, is that inappropriate? No, it's not. Get on that. I don't know if that sounds weird or not. Anyway, so whatever. But I've had lots of friends that were in the art department with me, and like wrestlers aren't just stupid people. We've talked about this before. Like the Ivy League schools, wrestlers are smart people. Adam Kuhn, aerospace engineers. Like all these guys, like they're
not smart people. Yeah, I'd say not hyping up myself, but I read a lot. I read a lot of stuff on astrophysics, psychology. I draw as well.
We're more than just a pigeonhole type thing, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Also, with the subcast that I had last night, had to do with motivation, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, positive thinking, things like that. But talking about the people with some of the shoes, and I was talking with Ben Gillette, who was a former SDSU wrestler, another very smart person. He's in his medical school or residency. He was talking about just the other day, they were cutting open a heart. Thought it was awesome to hear him say that. I was like, dude, that's awesome. But another very smart person. But we were talking about like how following some of these wrestlers, like on social media, and what I was saying last night about following like-minded people and positive people, and I mentioned Kyle Snyder and Seth Gross and Bryce Meredith and all these guys. Like, it's awesome to follow these people because they're like light years beyond their age, and they're good role models and posting positive stuff, and like I said, just taking like wrestlers out of that pigeonhole stereotype. And it's fun to follow those guys because it's not like I don't mind scrolling through their stuff when I'm looking at it with my son who
Yeah.
looks up to these guys, because it's not just going to be college parties and weirdness that like probably a typical college
yeah.
kids feed would be like, but these guys are just light years beyond, and I just think it's
You're forgetting
awesome.
one talking about light years beyond. I mean, Yanni D.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you've already talked about it.
That
you know,
he's got such a
His
such
mindset,
an intelligent senior mindset from a freshman. Well,
Yeah.
he's gonna be a sophomore now, but yeah.
So I mean, I just think it's really great to see some of these things from these guys.
Yeah.
To see them not making money, but see them like get cool stuff like these shoes and just bringing more attention to them. We talked about the Rudis deal with Kyle Snyder. I think the sponsorships and with all these things coming out, I think all that's awesome. That also leads into like the freestyle stuff coming up. Like, I cannot wait for World Team Trials.
Speaking of some things coming up from social media, Flo's already posted it. A lot of y'all have heard.
Yeah, that's what
Super match.
Yes, the super match is going to be awesome. Frank Chamismo versus Jordan Burroughs. Chamismo's coming up to 74 kilograms. It's Jordan Burroughs' weight, and it's going to be an epic match. It's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun to watch. It's going to be at Beat the Streets, which is a great event that they host. Times Square, New York City, outdoors. Like, wrestling is doing so much great stuff that if you're not watching it in some form or fashion, come on, guys, get on somewhere, find it, YouTube it, get your subscription to Flow.
It's not that much,
come
guys.
to my house. Tyler and I watch it together. Just whatever. Like, the stuff is getting put out there in these different venues. And like we said, finding some of these different channels to watch it on. It's awesome to see good things happening for a great sport. For great people involved in the sport, whether it be coaches, athletes. I'm looking forward to the upward trajectory of our sport and of the people in it and what they're able to do with all these things. And I'm super excited to see this super match, which I'm going to throw it back also. Bryce Meredith, I believe, he tweeted out, hey, since we kind of got this going with him and Seth Gross, how about some tickets to the show? And somebody's like, dude, we got you. You got tickets to it. I was like, dude, that's awesome. And I hope he really gets to go out there and go see it, because it's going to be awesome to see. They started the super match thing, and to see this super match, and it's just exciting to watch, with wrestling right now.
Would you say it's too far for me to say that right now, in my opinion, I feel that we're in a renaissance of wrestling, almost like kind of an enlightenment period where it's starting to get more eyes on it, and you're starting to be able to see things like that. You're starting to see more spotlight. You're getting better role models. Everyone's kind of like, this looks cool.
That yes, but I think all this was there before. I think we had the people, we had the integrity, we had the characters.
But we had a niche group. Now
but it was only niche, and you couldn't find anything online for anything. You couldn't find coverage to anything. And I think it's great that now, and this is one of those cases where I'm an advocate for social media.
Yeah.
We didn't have social media like that back then. So it's growing in so many ways, through social media, through just the internet, through just different marketing groups. I mean, through clothing and apparel lines, which, hey, I thought it was really cool. Let me show you the one. Just on our Cerebrus page on Instagram, had another company follow us. I followed them back. They were, talking to me just a little bit. I got an email today. I got to email them back. Couldn't remember what their exact. I was trying to find.
Speaking of wrestlers and all that, one person I was hoping to get him on. I couldn't find him while I was over there in New Orleans for WrestleMania, but I wanted to get Chad Betts or Chaz Betts or whatever. He goes by Chad Gable in WWE. But for those of y'all who don't know, he was an Olympic wrestler. He was Greco, I think 97 kilos, I think. Yeah. He's a short dude, but he's a big dude, and it's
Affirmation Training and Performance, ATP. So shout out.
That's
to
actually
you guys.
a really cool name, ATP. Because for those of you who are not science nerds, ATP is it's like what creates energy or is energy.
Which if you look at their logo, it's kind of got some stuff like I don't know, but I'm sure they're aware of that. But Affirmation and Training Performance Co. They sent us some stuff, and I was like, dude, we are what we are. We're a podcast. We're a mini club. We're not like a big club we work out of the garage. We're gonna get ready to go hit a workout here in a minute. We've done some training there. All that kind of stuff like that. And I was like, we really don't have a market to order all that stuff just yet. But they're like have small order number. So throw us your logo, and then maybe design some stuff. So maybe they come out with something cool, and we'll maybe see what the prices are like, and if everything works out, maybe we'll throw it out on social media. Again, social media, and we could possibly take pre-orders for something. So we're just seeing how things are going. Before we get into the other thing, I was gonna say, like, talking about things, but I wanted to, before I forgot about it, was like another potential sponsor. Tyler's already kind of sponsored on his personal page, but
I know
he said he wanted to do our show too. Roll Soap.
Roll Soap, yes. It's actually a really good friend of mine that I've been training with for a few years now in jiu-jitsu. He created this all natural soap and he calls it Roll Soap because he got the idea when he was for jiu-jitsu and all that, and it's very basic. It's just it doesn't have all these additives, preservatives, phosphates, doesn't dry your skin out. And he wanted to sponsor me because I've been joking on my podcast about how he's my unofficial sponsor, and he's like, hey, look, he's like, I'll be your official sponsor. He's like, I can pay you in soap if that's cool. I was like, hey, I love your soap, so yeah, absolutely. And he's also wanting, I asked him if he wanted us to, and I think I talked to you about it, maybe getting his like a logo printed on the sleeve of our Mud Run shirts that we're gonna have for that Mud Run. And he's it's great. And if you want to check him out, by the way, you can go to his shop. It's www.etsy.com/shop/rollsoap. The logo of someone putting someone in a triangle choke in jiu-jitsu. It's great stuff. I really cannot recommend it enough.
I'll get Tyler to put the link on the bottom of the YouTube thing in there. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a try, trying it out and see what it's like. Never hurts having another thing kind of in your repertoire of things, and I think it's awesome to have somebody like what we're doing and enough to want to say, hey, I'd love to
sponsor you, studio as well,
and like just so it's a cool thing to just have people reach out, and I just really like that idea. People reaching out, saying hey, and reaching back out and seeing what we can do for others as well. So hopefully this is the beginning of kind of like a cool partnership and like helping each other's stuff grow, which I think is awesome. So before we get into kind of like finishing up for the day, before we go hit our workout, because that's kind of like the last transition, but I was going to say, like, with wrestling and kind of just playing off of something else I was just wanting to talk about, and this is kind of neither here nor there, but we got a couple minutes before we roll up on out here to go work out to the compound upstairs. We have to go real far. But anyway, talking about wrestling, wrestlers, positive mindsets and things like that, and mental toughness. We've talked a lot about motivation and like-minded people and all that kind of stuff, but I want to talk a little about mental toughness. And another great thing about wrestling is, like, wrestling will kind of like you kind of said it about DeSanto. If he went to Iowa, like, he'll make or break him, and I think it'd be great for him. I don't know if it'd be breaking, but like wrestling will do that to you. Like, it will let you know what you're made of, and it will test your mental toughness and let you know whether you're tough enough or whether you're not. And when I say whether you're not, I'm not saying it breaks all people, or just because you couldn't handle wrestling, you're weak. And no. Hey, some people understand what their limits are, and I think it takes sometimes a bigger man or a bigger person to accept what your limits and your capabilities are. And it's great to know that wrestling helped you figure that out. So now you know what you can do in life. But I also wanted to say that I think that you can get stronger mentally as well. It can help you build all that as well. And, it's kind of like that whole thing about being okay with failure, but not being content with accepting that state of failure, wanting to grow and get better. And I think, with wrestling, you can find a way to continue to learn from mistakes and get better and stuff.
It's actually kind of...
I was talking with a kid really about it, and he actually said it, and he got the quote from Coach Caldwell, and I said, I really liked it. Said, the mind is also a muscle, and so we go to work things out. We're getting ready to go work out here in a minute, but the mind is also a muscle, and you got to work that mind out, and you got to condition your mind to be mentally strong as well as physically strong in the body. And I thought that was just something I just wanted to talk about just for a minute and kind of throw that at you.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's actually goes into what I was talking about with. I was working with my friend Brandon in this. We're kind of working on our little quasi studio for right now that we're going to be probably moving into. At least I might be moving into that for a while.
I probably tried to get over there to do some of these episodes too, but with the family, like right now,
it's difficult.
But we'll have two homes. It'd be cool to have two homes. We'll have to order another banner.
We will. But he mentioned something about, it's a book called The Prince or something. It's like Machiavelli's The Prince, and one thing that it talked about in there is forced positivity. So it's when you're at your absolute worst. You don't think you can handle it. Everything seems to be going downhill for you. Force those positive, mindset. Try to see the good in things. Even as hard it is, force yourself to do it because even at those times, you'll see, like for instance, the other day when I was hitting my run, yesterday, I was, I'm not at my overall goal where I want to be, but I noticed I was having small little successes where one of it was conquering this long, steep, enduring hill that that I've been struggling with because it's a constant incline and it's so big and it's so long and it was hard for me to get all the way through it. And yesterday I conquered it for the first time in a few years. Another thing was just keeping that pace going and figuring out how to control the breathing and my strides to keep endurance. And it's small things like that. So you have to keep these positive mindsets and not focus on all the negatives all the time. And then I'll throw this one to you now. And I got one more thing I want to mention before we leave though. As I say, if we can talk about it. If not, but briefly, I didn't get to watch a lot of it. But we're talking about wrestling obviously, and we were talking about Burroughs, and you talked about Meredith. We were talking about all these wrestlers. Mm-hmm. I feel one person we need to start talking about here, who I feel he's been great, but I feel he's going to put a lot of people on notice. I think this is going to be his year, or the next few years will start being his year. Is Kyle Dake. After watching, watching what he did.
Yeah, and I think that fits perfectly into kind of wrapping this up too. But one I wanted to say, yes, a lot of people say it's our off season right now. It's our in season as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I love freestyle, I love Greco, and Kyle Dake has just been a beast, and he is. I don't know, I'll answer that text in a minute, but he has just been on a roll. He has been killing it, and I really think that I even said I said. He's probably our best current world team member without a gold. And let me throw this out there too. Devin quickly got me and was like, "What about the Magic Man?" Because that's one of his favorite wrestlers. So David Taylor, know that you are a big favorite in this household. My boy Devin loves you, and you're probably one of his favorite wrestlers. And I think you are also on that same upward trajectory. Yeah. Your stuff has been amazing, but
physical
but the physical transformations have been amazing. But just the performance from World Cup, with some of those throws, and you were attacking people like crazy as well. But I think those two guys right there are. Look, I am so excited about freestyle wrestling right now.
Did you see
Greco season?
Text someone
Date Fix. We've been doing some freestyle Greco at the high school 2 days a week for right now. Actually, we got a tournament coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. Devin's going to go to that one, probably take some of the guys to that as well. But, man, I 100% agree with you. I love this season. To me, it's our end season. That folk style is our regular season, and I'm going to say this is our end season. A lot of people say out of season stuff. No, this is my end season. Regular season is folk style, but this is my end season. This is my stuff. This is my end season. I love being involved. I love being in it. I love watching it. I'm so happy that, as we said, I think this Renaissance period of wrestling, that so much stuff is out there that we can readily see matches, and I am so excited to see some stuff coming up. The World Team Trials, this whole Final X stuff, which to me at first was a little confusing. I'm still figuring out kind of how they're doing things, but it's kind of it is. But it seems like what they've done is they're trying to set up a season. Whereas before it was just freestyle season, and it was you go to this tournament, that tournament, or this tournament, and kind of everybody meets here for the qualifier. Yeah. Now it's kind of giving reason for progress in the season, so that now we're kind of drawn into a season, which I think is kind of cool to have, for marketing purposes and getting people involved in it. It's kind of cool to get people to see that. So, but before we wrap it up, I was going to say also, the mind is a muscle, and like you said, hitting those things, kind of trying to get back into, lack of a better term, the glory days, per se, of being able to do some of those things, some of those runs and number of pull-ups and things like that. And we got to get ready for this mud run, and we've been really working hard on it, keeping each other motivated and doing things. I'm more excited about the super match, but I've been excited to do this as well. So we're going to get ready to go get this training session in. I'm skipping cardio today. I did cardio last 2 days, but today we're going to get a little workout and calm
Messed up
down.
my ankle, so I'm gonna have to
So-
skip it today. Unfortunately, as much as I love it, but
And we were also talking about this too, like, you know, we're getting a little bit older. Him older than me, but
I feel it. I'm telling you, I'm slowly.
But like, hey, there's some truth to training smarter, not harder. When we were younger, we used to be able to grind through workouts and do things and just get back up the next day.
Mhm.
But we're trying to train our bodies to adjust to things, and I think for both of us, this is also not just a like a one-time weekend warrior get ready for, but it's kind of a lifestyle type thing, getting our bodies back into and figuring out how to train our bodies for the next thing as we, you know, still want to be competitive in different things that we do, and training smarter,
it's a
not
new
harder,
challenge for me.
and keeping the bodies fit and doing what we can for all that. You know, that, and I got to win my bet against my other friend.
It's a new challenge for me. I love challenges, so you know, it's when he asked, I was like. I initially told him, I was like, hey, yeah, give me a day and I'll let you know by the end of the night. And
you probably made your decision.
Yeah,
like
I made
5
my
minutes
decision.
ago.
I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I just knew in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it. I was like, but you know, let me think about it. And I was like, I would have to take off work. And I was like, that's good. That's easy. It's one day. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things I take as a challenge. I'm ready.
Yeah,
And so,
I kind of knew. I was like, once I asked him, he was like, yeah, let me let you know. And then I was like, I could tell. I was like, he was in.
Let's do this.
So I actually texted my buddy, the other buddy. I was like, yep, Nick,
He's
we
in.
got a
He's
guy.
in. So hashtag
All right.
Wrestling Renaissance. Hashtag Wrestle
Wrestle
6.
Six. And see you later.